Greetings viewers, if you click the video link you already know what we're here to do, so let's jump into it. I want to talk about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and why we're going to do it that way. So I mentioned doing this a while back, finally getting around to it. We're going to torture test a couple mags today. So I want these tests to be somewhat realistic. I'm not going to fill them with macaroni and cheese and glitter and shoot them with the 50 cal. You're going to have to watch Demolition Ranch if you want to see stuff like that. Maybe if he's kind enough one day we'll collaborate and do that, but I doubt he's got time for me. So anyway, so the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to take the mags empty and we are going to drop them from shoulder height. I'm just going to hold them out to the side and I'm going to drop them onto the feed lips completely empty. I'm going to then load the mags fully and I'm going to do the exact same thing, and then we are going to put them in a rifle and we're going to cycle it. Now, throughout the course of these tests, I am not going to actually fire the ammunition, and I thought long and hard about this and the best way to do it. And I feel like hand cycling the rounds is probably going to be the best bet because we are here to test the magazines. I'm not here to test the rifle. So some of you may be screaming at your screens already, yelling at me, well, if I'm not firing the rounds, then that's not realistic. Well, it is, because again, I'm testing the magazines here. I'm not testing the rifle. So if I soak a magazine in mud and shove it in the gun and the gun jams while firing because of the mud and it has nothing to do with the mag's trying to do its job feeding, then that's an issue with the rifle, and then we're going to deduct points essentially from the mag for that, and I don't think that's fair. So I feel like hand cycling is going to give us the most reliable and consistent testing medium. Also, if you think about it, I'm doing 3 mags today. If I fire all the rounds from this mag, and I fire all the rounds from this mag, and I get about halfway through this one, and the carbon buildup in the gun on top of whatever muck and stuff is built up in there causes it to stop, that's not going to be fair and look negatively on this magazine, when if essentially I had used this one first and this one last, this one would be the one having the problem. So again, if I'm not firing, there's no carbon buildup, so that's not a contributing factor to a magazine failure. The gun's not heating up and things are changing in there. It's consistent, the same temperature all the way around. And so if the magazine is fully loaded and gets submerged in water and the ammunition itself gets compromised and doesn't want to fire, I'm going to have to hand cycle the rounds anyway, which then is going to be a completely different test than live fire. So I'm able to, again, consistently across the board control everything. All I have to do is pull the charging handle back and let it go over and over and over again. So my arm's going to get a little bit of a workout, and that's the only thing that might fail here today. We'll see. So let's talk about the 3 mags that we're going to be using. I already kind of showed them to you. This is a USGI. This is an actual issued mag that has never been used. It's been kicked around in a sea bag for a while. I don't know what the statute of limitations is, so I'm not going to say where I got it from, but it's unused and it doesn't come in a wrapper when it gets issued, so that's old. This is a Magpul Gen M3 with the window. I figured why not try the newest and greatest version. And then we've got a Lancer L5AWM. Again, you can see these are both in the plastic. We're going to break these open and then we're going to get to the testing. So the actual tests that we are going to be running. So what I'm going to do is take the magazine at shoulder height. We're going to have the feed lips down empty. I'm going to reach my arm out. I'm going to drop it on concrete. I'm going to then take the mags. I'm going to load all of them and I'm going to do the same thing so it takes the full weight of a loaded mag. I'm going to visually inspect to make sure there's no issues. If the rounds are flying out, then we know there's a problem. Hand cycle all the rounds out of it once we get through that. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put the mags in the freezer. People live in Arctic areas, operators operate in Arctic environments, so it's not unrealistic that they would be subjected to some sub-zero temperatures. So I will put them in the freezer for 2 hours. I'm going to take them out, bring them out to the range, we're going to hand cycle the rounds through them. Then, after I'm done with that, they are going to sit on the table. It's the beginning of August here in Florida, so it's nice and toasty. I'm going to leave all 3 of them sitting out together in the sun for about an hour, let them get nice and hot, let all the metals and the springs and the feed lips and the bodies of the mags expand. Then we're going to throw them in the rifle and we are going to hand cycle the rounds. After that, what I'm going to do is I have a little container. It's going to be filled with play sand, and it's going to simulate dropping your mag in the sand. And I'm going to put it in the little bin. We're going to shake it around. We're going to get some sand inside the mag and all around it. I'm going to take it out. Now, just think to yourself, if you dropped your mag in the sand, are you going to just pick it up and immediately shove it in the gun? Or are you probably going to smack it against your leg once or twice and then shove it in the gun? So again, realistic, that's what I'm going to do. Some sand's going to fall out. I'm not trying to dig holes with the mag, but it is going to be realistic. I know myself, again, is going to smack the mag before I throw it in. Then we're going to do the same exact thing, but I'm going to use some just dirt from the yard. Once that's done, then I'm going to pour water into the dirt and stir it up and make a nice little nasty mud slurry. And we're going to put the mags in that, shake it up, again, smack them off, put them in the gun, and then see how they do. So I'm keeping the test base here with these 3 mags. If you have any other mags you'd like to see me test in the future, let me know down below. We can do the exact same testing. Also, if you have some other test methods or you think I missed something or something else I should have done, I can go ahead and do that as well for these and or some other mags in a future video. So I think I've talked long enough. Let's just get into the testing, shall we? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open these mags. You guys can see they're coming out of the plastic before we start the test. They are brand new. I am gonna take the feed lip cover off. And those are usually generally just used for storage. Keep the mags inside from pressing up on the feed lips, keep dust and dirt from coming down into the mag. All right, so as of right now, all 3 mags are empty, so I'm gonna do the shoulder height drop test onto concrete on the feed lips. Starting with the Magpul, USGI, and Lancer. So we've just got a little bit of scuffing on there. I don't see any permanent damage. The plastic has not shattered, nothing crazy like that. The metal, it doesn't appear to be bent. Just some white markings from the concrete where it's scraped. So I gotta go ahead and fill up these mags all the way. I'm gonna fill them to total capacity. I know most people will load 28 rounds in their mags, so we're just gonna fill them all the way up. And then we'll do the drop test again. All 3 mags have been loaded to max capacity. Not that it's very relevant for the later tests, but I am using some American Eagle 55 grain FMJs. The only reason that might be significant is because of the bullet weight. These are 55 grain loaded in here. If it was 64 grain, 75 grain, it would be a little bit heavier dropping on those feed lips. But I'm just gonna use this ammo because this is kind of it's a bullet weight that is common among many people and they might be loading in their mags. So let's just shut up and drop them. So Magpul, Lancer, USGI. Had a round pop out on that one. I was kind of expecting all of them to do that. Some more scuffing, some more scraping. The Lancer mag, you can tell it's actually starting to pop out, but it didn't quite come out there. A little bit of damage to the top round here. But other than that, the integrity of the magazines appears to be fine, so now we need to go ahead and throw them in a rifle and see if they cycle. All right, so I've got the rifle set up in a rest here. Just for reference, the rifle that I'm using is an LAR-15 made by Rock River. We're not doing anything super high-end. We're not doing something super low-end. It's kind of, I feel like, a mid-tier. Then we're not going to say that it's the gun that helped the mag win or something. I don't know. I've got a little bucket set up here to help try and catch these rounds so I can reload them when we're done. But I haven't done anything to the mags. They're still all scuffed up and dirty. I did find the loose round that popped out of the USGI mag. I loaded it in there, and then we're just gonna go ahead and start cycling them, see if we've got any issues with these feed lips. All right, let's start cycling. First one's in. We're gonna do the Lancer first. Lock back on empty. No issues. All right, my hand's not gonna survive doing that for the remainder of this testing, so you can go ahead and call me a little bitch down in the comments. I put a glove on. We're gonna do the USGI mag next. Lock back on empty. And last but not least, the Magpul. Lock back on empty. So far no issues. Brand new mags after empty drop testing and full drop testing. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and load these back up and I'm gonna stick them in the freezer for 2 hours. We'll take them out and check the temps and then we'll get back out here and do the same thing again. So you can see the mags are in the freezer. It is currently 12:10 in the afternoon. We're gonna let these sit for 2 hours and we'll come back. All right, so it is now 2:13 in the afternoon. It has been 2 hours. The mags are in the freezer nice and frosty still. So we are gonna take them out, put them in a cooler and get outside. Just so you can see, Again, they're in here. I do have a little laser thermometer, as accurate as that's going to be. It says 14.6 for the USGI, 11 for the Lancer, 12.4 for the Magpul. So I'm going to take them out one at a time and put them through the same test that we've already done. All right, USGI is first up. Nice and frosty. Oh, we had a failure to feed on that second to last one, and we locked back on empty. We ejected the round, but it did not load the next one. Follower's all the way to the top, so I guess it figured itself out. Got dog hair on it. And we lock back on empty on the Lancer. Magpul's turn. And we lock back on empty on the Magpul again. So far we've only had one issue, failing to feed, and that was the USGI mag. After racking the charging handle again, it seems to have fixed itself after that. So I wouldn't really call that a fail, because you would easily be able to fix that. However, that is the only issue we've had. The magazines are starting to get a little moist now, being out in the heat after being in the cold. So the next step, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna leave them out here in the sun for an hour and let them bake. It is mid-90s today, high humidity. So we should have some quite drastic temperatures once these things warm up and get hot. So I'm gonna load them back up. We're gonna leave them laying out here in the sun, and then we'll come back. All right, so I've got the mags out here in the sun. I don't know if you can even see that screen. It's currently approximately 2:30 in the afternoon. The temperature of the surface that these things are sitting on is registering as 174 degrees. It's been out here in the sun for a while. You can see the Magpul mag's a little moist there. So we're gonna let these guys sit here for an hour and bake. They should be nice and toasty by the time we're ready to pick back up, and we'll keep going. All right, it's 3:37, a little longer than an hour, but that's fine. I did have to move the mags because the shade started sliding over a little bit, so we're still in the sun here, still in the same area. Let's go ahead and check with our super accurate NASA thermometer. So we're reading 129.5 on the USGI mag. Somehow the P mag is hotter, guessing because it's the black coloring. So we got 143 on the plastic body of the Lancer and 145 on the metal portion. So let's get to it. So kind of the other portion of this test would be that we're going from an extreme cold temperature to an extreme heat, not just the hot and cold itself. So perhaps that actually does something or not. Let's get to it. Lock back on empty. The Lancer. Let's do the USGI. We got to lock back on the USGI. And onto the PMag. And a lock back on the PMag. So far we haven't done anything too crazy, I don't think. I haven't expected anything less than essentially the results we've gotten. The next step is going to be to get them dirty, so I'm going to fill up my box with sand and we're going to jump right into that. Just for reference, this is the sand that I'm using for this test. I got this from Lowe's. Basically as pure of sand as we could find. That which you may find on the beach or some other sandy environment may have other particulates in it, but this is as close as I can get from where I live. I did also have to move locations. The weather got cloudy really fast. As usual, I don't want my camera equipment getting rained on, and then it started getting sunny again. Here in Florida, we never know what's going to happen, so I'm just doing the best I can with what I've got. Anyway, you didn't come here to listen to all that, so what I have is that sand that I just showed you in a plastic tote container. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to one by one, we're going to drop the mag in the sand. I'm going to put the lid on, and we're going to give it 3 good shakes. 1, 2, 3. If you have never been to the beach, you're not aware, sand tends to get everywhere and in everything. Like I mentioned, if I drop my mag in the sand, I'm not just going to take it and stuff it in the gun. You can see right there, we've already got a huge caking of sand. I'm going to take it and I'm probably going to smack it on my leg or even a hard surface. Knock the sand off, that's all I did. There is still sand on top. And we're going to put it in the gun and continue. I can already hear the crunchiness, so let's go. Well, we got a jam of some sort. The bolt is seated behind the round and it is starting to push it forward, but it looks like the round itself actually nosedived into the chamber there. Let's go ahead and charge it and see if we can fix it. And let's keep going. All right, we got a lock back on empty. It is possible that I short stroked that one. I'm not trying to make any excuses for the mag. I don't have any loyalty to Lancer, but I may have short stroked it, so that could be on me. Let's go ahead and level our sand back out so we're on an even playing field. Do the Magpul next, just like we dropped it in. Put the lid on. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to bang it on my leg. Got to lock back on empty. Level out our sand. 1, 2, 3. Take it out, bang it. And lock back on empty. So it does seem kind of silly. The sand is definitely going to get in more places, even worse than the dirt. However, I am going to turn this dirt into mud afterwards, so we might as well subject it to another test. We've got butterfingers today. We keep dropping our mag in the dirt. Not sure if it's relevant or not, or you guys care. I've been using a mag lula to load all 3 of the mags every single time I've done it. When I was loading the Lancer mag this go round, prior to dropping it in the dirt, it was a little crunchy going in, so I don't know if that's going to have any effect whatsoever. But maybe that was just it volunteering to go first again. So we're going to do the same exact thing. We'll drop it in the dirt. We're going to give it 3 good shakes. So 1, 2, 3. Again, we got butterfingers today. We got dirt caked everywhere. We're going to give it 2 whacks. And keep going. Had nothing come out that second round. We are jammed up. So we've got dirt under the feed lip there that's actually keeping the round low enough. You can see the bolt actually scraped the top of it, but it wasn't enough to pick it up. So we do have some dirt causing a problem there. We would probably give this some more wax here. Knock that dirt out. The round has popped up. So the Lancer needed a double whack. That's the second time this thing's had an issue with dirt. If the first one wasn't me short stroking it. So we did have a failure to feed again, but then I just racked it and the next round went. Nothing came out. We did lock back on empty. We did have a couple of cases where the round did not spit out, but racking it again loaded the next round in. So again, probably just the follower. The round's getting clogged up with dirt. But so far it seems the Lancer's the only one that's had any issues. Let's do the USGI next. Let's level out our dirt. Mag goes in. 3 good shakes. 1, 2, 3. Give it 2 good whacks. 1, 2. Lock back on empty. We had 0 issues with any of the rounds coming out. PMag time. 1, 2, 3. Bang it twice. And 0 issues with any rounds coming out on the Magpul. We had a lock back on empty. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pour some water into our dirt bucket here. Not really sure how to measure the consistency. I'm just putting in a lot of water. I'm gonna stir this around with a stick. I'll get it nice and gloopy. And then I'm gonna go ahead and reload these rounds back into the mags, and then we'll do the mud test. I feel like a kid playing with this dirt, but I think I've got it sufficiently stirred up. It is a little bit more on the runny side, which is fine. We've had plenty of dry dirtiness, so it's going to be kind of gloppy. Definitely the type of mud that you would unluckily drop your mag into. So Magpul's on top, it's going in first. I think the way I'm going to do it is I'm just going to drop it in there and let it kind of settle underneath and then pull it out and shake it off. Yeah, I'd say that's decently submerged. We'll kind of let it go in a little bit. The only reason I'm wearing this glove is because I still have to touch my camera and everything else, so mag is sufficiently disgusting. I'm not even going to shake it off. I'm just going to throw it in there and we're going to see what happens. Definitely a little gritty going in. Ooh, I don't think the bolt's seated all the way. Yeah, our bolt didn't even seat all the way. And I'm not so sure that's a mag issue. Yeah, our bolt's not seating, but it's grabbing the rounds. So let's put this back down in there. This is super gritty and not wanting to move. We do have a round in the chamber. So this is where it comes down to potentially a gun issue with the tolerances and being able to handle a little bit of debris coming out of the mag. So I'm going to put my finger over the top of this, give it a couple shakes. That's 3. And we're going to put it back in and see if we can get this to work. Mag did not seat, the bolt did not seat forward all the way again. Just so you can see what's going on. It's kind of hard to show both sides. So that bolt is not fully seated. This thing is sufficiently mucky, grindy. It's dragging on the next round that has gunk on it. And looks like we got a last round bolt hold open. We did. Several of the rounds were extremely tight. I'm pretty sure if we were doing a live fire that the bolt would not have cycled for sure. I gave it a little bit more oomph, I guess. I don't know, but I struggled on a couple of them. Let's do the USGI next. We'll save the Lancer for last since it was having some issues. I think we held the other one up a little bit and kind of let it drain. We also gave it 3 shakes after the fact, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that ahead of time. Put my finger over it. 1, 2, 3. Struggle to pull that one. Nope. Got a double feed on that one. There is a round in the chamber. The next one's trying to load into the back of it. Not only that, we've got the mag out and locked back, and that round is still just sitting there trying to shove its way in. Same exact issue again. Except that one actually fell out this time. There are no more rounds left in the mag. The round is still in the chamber. And we got a bolt hold open. Very, very gritty. All right, last but not least, Lancer's turn to take a bath. The other one's got fully submerged, so we're gonna make sure it gets its turn. Again, of note for the Lancer mag, loading it for this go round, it was extremely gritty and gross. I don't have high hopes for it in this test. Let the water drain out. Put our finger over the mag and the rounds and give it 3 shakes. 1, 2, 3. And let's keep going. Bolt is not even moving to go forward. The round is pretty much stuck less than halfway, getting pushed forward. Try it again. Mostly seated, that bolt is not all the way forward. We'll see if it extracts. We had no feed on that last one. I'm holding this back. I haven't let it go. There's nothing in the chamber. Nothing in the chamber. Nothing was extracted. Okay. Took a couple tap rack bangs there without the tap. Uh-oh, we're gonna have a double feed here if I let go. So same as the previous issue with the USGI mag, we've got a round in the chamber and we've got one shoved up its butt trying to go in. And a last round, bolt hold open. These things are disgusting and grimy and greasy and not wanting to function. The inside of the chamber of the gun's pretty jammed up too. I don't know if you can tell on the camera there, the bolt is about as gross as the mags are. Chamber's not looking so great. It has got dirt and gunk all in it. So again, this is why I chose not to do live fire, because I don't want a gun issue to make it appear that the mag is bad. I wanted to subject everything to the same tests. And I think what I would like to do before we close it out, as gunky and greasy and gross as these mags are, I want to go ahead and I'm going to load them back up, and we're going to do another feed lip drop test after having done all this, and hand cycle them again and see what happens. All right, so I went ahead and rinsed off all the mags. While they were empty before I loaded them, I just kind of rinsed them off in a sink, and then I filled them up, and all three of them were having issues loading. They were grinding and crunching and fighting against the mag lula to load. So once I got all the rounds shoved in there, I went ahead and rinsed them again. I rinsed the outsides, I ran water down in the inside and let it pour out. I turned them upside down and dumped the water out. So I guess maybe we can just pretend you finished your amphibious assault on the beach, and the land where you got everything muddy, you got back in the water, you had butterfingers again and started dropping mags. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop them right here on the ground behind where we're working, and we're gonna do our last cycling here. So I'm gonna hold them out shoulder length away. You should be able to see the impact spot on the concrete, same as the first test. Looks like 2 rounds popped out of the USGI mag. 2 rounds popped out of the Lancer mag, and no rounds popped out of the Magpul mag. All right, I got all 4 of those rounds shoved back in the mags. Let's go ahead and get set up and do our final cycling. We'll do USGI first. Mag didn't even want a seat, so this will be fun. Got a double feed. And again, this could be a weapon malfunction. If the bolt was not able to go forward all the way to grab the round, I don't necessarily fault the mag. So this is kind of tough here. So that one failed to go all the way into battery here. Almost there. We may be able to extract it and get the next one to move. Nope, we're gonna have a double feed if I do that. Same thing, did not quite go all the way into battery. Forward assist is not assisting. Same thing again. And last round, bolt hold open. super grimy and gross. Lancer mag. It was sluggish, but the bolt went forward and into battery. The bolt did not quite go all the way forward. There is no round in the chamber. It's just dragging and not moving that round up. Just a tap fixed it. About the same issue. The round is starting to touch the feed ramp, but it's not going. Fixed it. Last round, bolt hold open. Magpul. That bolt didn't even budge. Simple tap is not fixing it. Slowly dropped the mag out and it went forward because I think the back pressure from all the gritty, grimy grossness is not letting the rounds go forward. Last round, bolt hold open. The only issue we had with that one was the very beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that the majority of you coming into this video may have, number one, already had some preconceived notions about what was going to be the best, what was going to fail, what was going to happen. I'm sure another group of you also have opinions on how I did it wrong and I should have, could have, would have done this and I'm an idiot. If you'd like, you can upload your own video doing it the right way and I'll be glad to watch it and learn from a true YouTube master. But other than that, I don't know that I would declare a clear and concise winner here. If I had to say which one performed the best and had the least issues total, it would have been the Magpul, unless I remind myself of something while editing that it failed catastrophically somewhere and I missed it and don't remember. When I did my first contact mag video, there were lots of comments that were either praising the USGI mag, that it's the greatest thing in the world and that plastic PMags suck, and then there was vice versa. I've had mixed results with them in real world scenarios where I was needing the mag to function and I needed it to function now. I've had issues with them and I've also had them run without issue. This is my first experience running the Lancer through its paces. Honestly, mags are designed to be run clean and dry. They have to have specific tolerances. If the follower is too tight, it's going to drag and catch on every single little grain of sand and not function. But if it's too loose, it's going to wobble and bind up and not load the round. So again, the manufacturers, when they make these things, they have to keep all that stuff in mind. It's not intended to drop the mag in the dirt. You're not supposed to drop these in the mud, but it does happen. So you need to know if your mags are going to function right. I know these are not the only 3 magazines that are on the market. Give me some ideas, some mags that you run that you think are going to pass the test and be flawless, and I will run the exact same tests that I ran on these the exact same way. At the end of the day, again, I would have to say that the firearm is going to matter as well. Even though I was not live firing, the mud that got jammed in there from this mag and got left behind was then added to this one, was then added to that one. So the third mag through the gauntlet had probably the worst time of all. I'm sure people out there are going to be telling me that I shouldn't have used a shit gun to do this test with. Again, I'm not going to make everybody happy. I can only do so much with what I have. So I wanted to use a kind of a mid to low tier gun to do this. I'm not running a H&K, a Noveski, a Knight's Armament, and I have a feeling if I were to pack mud and dirt and sand into the chamber of those guns that it would probably suffer from the same issue. So I don't honestly think that that would matter much. To be honest, I think all 3 mags did a fantastic job. None of them appear physically to have any major issues from the feed lip drop tests. I'm sure I would have to sit out here and do that 100 times before we would get something definitive from that. Basically it was just the dirt and sand either caking up the follower and not allowing it to move, or just kind of binding in between the rounds and not allowing them to slide up, or even squish down a little bit so the bolt could go across so that it was having that friction and it was dragging. I think I made the right call not doing live fire with the gun, because that carbon buildup would have added another element to create issues. I think we did okay. The only casualty, I think, was my finger, even though that's quite a workout with these sharp edges, racking that thing over and over again. Again, I'll let you decide what the winner was. You can let me know down below what you thought, what I did wrong, what mags I should try next, what other tests I should do. Perhaps saltwater would be a good idea, but then the problem is, how do we judge that? Do we soak it for half an hour and do it? Do I leave it in there for a week? What's the quote-unquote right answer for that? So that's about the only thing I could think of that I could possibly do different, but you guys all have your own ideas, so please let me know. Let me know what you thought of the video in general and what I can do moving forward in the science department here to bring some education and shed some light on equipment in the community. So anyway, I'm going to call this video here, so thank you for your time, and we'll catch you in the next video.